James Taylor, you got a friend, Tom D. Camillo and Joe Carrero, and we're your friends, and this is live at Santan Valley CAClive on KQCK. Welcome to the weekly program, and Joe, it's good to be back. A little bit terrifying what's kind of gone on the East Coast.
You know, I was following it on the web, and then the company I was following it on, Livestream, who broadcasts all kinds of stuff on the web, got hit.
Really?
Their building got hit, and they lost all their servers, and then they lost their backup power, so they can't even service their clients. It was awful. So you're not watching on the web now, so I have kind of out of touch with it a little bit.
Well, I have several hundred family members in the area and friends. But over the course of obviously growing up in that area, hundreds of people that I know, and growing up going down to Jersey Shore, which is nothing like the show The Jersey Shore, so don't anybody get any of that idea. It's not really what the Jersey Shore is like. But growing up and going to like Ocean City, New Jersey, and looking at the way the boardwalks were ripped up, and that one roller coaster that's out in the middle of the ocean now is a little bit scary. So we want to wish the best to all the people back there. It's going to be a lot of cleanup in the Middle Atlantic states up and through to New England. So if and I know we do get listeners from that area. We've had listeners from Cape Cod and from Long Island on the program. So we wish you, if you might not even be able to listen because you might not have any electricity at this time.
That would be the only reason people wouldn't listen from there.
That's true. So
must be the weather.
But if eventually when things get cleaned up, you're probably going to need to start cooking again because you're going to get sick of eating out. You're constantly going to be eating out or finding places to eat. You're going to like this tie-in because today we have Carol Bennett with us, Chef Carol Bennett from Central Arizona College's Culinary Arts program, and also with her is Miranda Vasquez from she's a pastry instructor, and she's going to be talking about. She's actually a resident here in the Santan Valley, so. And we're going to have an update. We had Carol on about a year ago, and there's a lot of exciting things that have happened. Carol took a class to Italy this summer. We also have the Maricopa campus is going to be opening up, and the Culinary Arts program is going to be spreading to that area. And then we also have a special program, the CSA program, and Carol will explain a little bit about that. And but just a reminder that this is CAClive. We are here every Thursday morning from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. If you have questions, Joe?
480-745-1033. Or feel free to jump on the chat and shoot us a message there, and we will reply to you. And if I remember correctly, when you were on last time, you said you were going to bring us some good food next time you came. And I've been waiting since then. And then I saw you today. I'm looking all around. So I'm starving this morning. I'm like, all right.
So, well, Carol, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Tom.
We appreciate you come back. Everybody loves to talk about food, and it was around this time last year because we were getting close to the holidays. But I think one of the big things we want to talk about is you had a really interesting summer. You took a class to Italy to learn some cooking techniques, and it really kind of all came together fairly quickly over the school year last year. And then talk about that experience and what did you actually learn and do over there?
You're right, it did come together quickly because I didn't think anybody would go, and we had students who wanted to go.
How many did you get?
We had 3 from CAC, and we partnered with Santa Fe Community College, so we had a group of 12 people, and really nice group to travel with.
How long were you there for?
2.5 weeks.
Wow, that's cool.
Was the trip, yeah. And this program I partnered with because a year prior to that I had gone over to check them out on my own. I went on spring break and paid my own way and went to check them out because they sounded like a unique program in that they went to 3 different areas in Italy in the 2.5 weeks, used regional chefs. So in each area the students learned how to cook the food in that area. So our first stop was in Otranto, which is in the heel of the boot, and not many American tourists go down there. And that was right on the Adriatic, so we did octopus and all kinds of fish. I mean, literally, we would drive by the harbor on our way to the school, and that was the food that we were cooking.
That's giving me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Why don't a lot of why is there not a lot of American tourists there? It's just an unknown place, or they're just
Or
attracted to
unknown.
more
Yeah.
other areas?
They go to Assisi, Rome, Florence, Tuscany, Venice.
All the romantic and the high profile places.
Yep.
So, and then what were the other areas that you went to?
We went to Ferrara. The students did. I only went the first week with them, and then the group went on to Ferrara, which is 30 minutes outside of Venice. So they had a trip to Venice, and then the earthquake hit there right before we went. And so the school that we were going to have classes in closed because it's an ancient.
Good that it hit before you got there.
Oh, you got that. And so they used local restaurants, and that turned out even better.
Wow.
Than the school. The third stop was Parma, and they used the Barilla Institute, which is a world-renowned facility to make pasta and learn
Is that
kinds of sauce.
the pasta company?
That's the pasta company.
Wow.
It's it's obviously I come from a very large Italian family, but the cooking that that my grandmother still does, she's in her 90s and she still makes all that all the stuff, is really sort of an Americanized version of it, because she was born here and she's a first generation American, but she when you go over to Italy, what is it? I mean, I think the first thing people think is that everything's pasta. But it's really there's obviously a lot of it, but there's really a wide range of food that people cook.
There is a wide range. There's pasta at every meal, or bread. It's
But more as an addition, not just like growing up pasta. That was it. That was like your meal.
Yeah, by us too. No, it would be one of your courses was a huge bowl of pasta, and then fish or meat as an accompaniment, and salads and vegetables were a little bit on the small side for our American tastes. Most of us were used to eating more vegetables than that.
I'd gain 100 pounds in 2 weeks there.
Yeah,
So you do a lot of biking and walking between meals.
I'd just be eating bread.
the bread. Yeah, but one of the fun things was this wasn't a tour company. And we went to artisan cheese farms where the people had been 5 generations making cheese, and just gathered as a small group with the farm family and watched what they were doing. Same with a vineyard we went to, and a olive orchard and mill. So it really got the insider's tour.
Wow, that is neat.
Explain what is an artisan cheese? Explain what that is.
Well, you go and you visit the cows right on the property.
Really?
The milk comes into a huge copper vat, and Grandma was there stirring it with the paddle.
Come on.
Not kidding.
They massage the cows with the real good cheese, don't they?
I think that's Japan.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
And then, add the rennet to it, and they were making fresh ricotta that day, and they made 4 different takes on the ricotta, and one better than the next, and then we got to sample it.
I should have had breakfast today. This is not good.
So when you looked at doing this, was this something that just came up and was an opportunity, or did you kind of look and say you wanted to try to do something in another country, maybe in Europe or something, to give students as an experience?
I'd been looking because Educational Foundation, EF Tours, I had checked into to see if we could do a culinary tour, and they would do a 2-week tour, and then they would add on for additional money some culinary information. The Marco Polo Foundation approached me, and they were offering the directors of programs the opportunity to come over and do the tour for free as long as you got there on your own. And I threw it in the trash the first time the guy came, because I said, well, nothing's for free. I know that by now. Yeah. And then the more I looked at it, the more I thought, I'm going to check this out. So they were willing to let me come over our spring break, so I didn't have to take time off from class. And like I said, I paid my way to get there, and I was really impressed. So I came back, I wrote the class, put it through the curriculum process so that students could get credit for it. And came back, and by the time a year later they were advertising it, the price went up, and I thought, nobody will ever do this. But the students did really want to do it, and we had a group that went, and so I wanted to go the first time too to see, okay, I think this is good, I'm praying it's good, and it really was good.
I think we have you have your phone ready to ring?
Dr. Michaels from, do you want me to ring that
Ring
for
your
you?
phone, yeah. There you go, all right.
Dr. Michaels from San Diego said he went to France for a 10-day gourmet pastry class. He said it was awesome, and there's nothing better than, he said he highly recommends the immersion training in those. That is cool.
I agree.
Wow.
The one thing I came back with, though, what really they do instinctively is they eat local foods in season. And, you can't bring Italy back here. So the students learned techniques. They learned what the food is supposed to taste like.
Give us an example of what you're talking about.
Like the ricotta cheese. We go and we buy a carton of ricotta cheese that really doesn't taste like the ricotta cheese.
At all, huh?
Not much. And so, when they make a lasagna with ricotta cheese, it tastes really different than what we have here. So rather than trying to reproduce everything, my message is to look at what's around you and what is unique where you live and embrace that. Try to buy local here in Arizona, seasonal.
So I have a challenge for you and your students that went. There's a restaurant out here called Bakki's. Have you been there?
I have not.
You've been there?
I absolutely have, yeah.
Well, we're running a special deal right now. If you mention that you heard about it on CAClive, you get 15% off your total bill.
Nice.
They're from Italy, and he said it's the most authentic, and it's terrific. It is very good. But I'd like to know how authentic it really is, since I've never been.
Well, maybe I'll hit them for lunch.
Check it out and go get the 15% discount and let them know.
Okay.
I'd really love to hear a critique on that.
Will do.
It's when you're searching out a program like this, and like you said initially, you kind of threw away the initial advertisement for it. I guess the best way, by you going over to kind of sort of vet the program and see what it was really like, is important. But are there a lot of programs that are really just glorified tourism sort of, I don't want to say schemes, but they're not culinary? It's kind of like a byproduct. Oh, you're going to stop in a kitchen and see people cook, as opposed to something that your students would be interested in, where they want to get in there and really kind of take a look at what's going on.
Well, that's a good question, and I think there's people that have bought very nice places in Tuscany and now get a local chef and do tours of the market, and then they come back and they cook, but it's more of a Scarsdale wife type of program.
That's a great comment. That's a great description, yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with them. I think they're really great, but if you're looking for an academic program, you want something different. And this fit the bill.
When you're creating a class like this to make it an academic program, the students got credit for going on
Yes.
this. So how do you tie that to a trip? I mean, is it different when you're setting up a class than setting up your typical class where you're in a classroom? This is obviously when you're looking at hours and getting curriculum, and you're dealing with a foreign country and different areas. It must take a lot more work to kind of prep something like that, as opposed to just doing something in a classroom on a campus. Or is it just different?
Different. The workload for me was different. Academically, the students had to research the 3 cities that we were traveling to and write a paper before we left. They had to keep a journal while we were there, and then they turned in a PowerPoint presentation with photos of the trip from their perspective. So that was the academic side of it, and then just being immersed. I worked with the curriculum office to determine credits and time, and they looked at the program and helped with determining how many credits the program was worth.
When they came back from the program, and you said you were there the first week, by the time they came back, what was their sort of experience? What were their comments when they came back and talked to you about it?
I would say they were life-changing for
Wow.
all three of the students.
In what way?
One person, they had things that were happening in their lives here that while they were there, you just are opened up in a different way. So you come back and you change some of the things that in your life here.
You realize there's other possibilities out there.
Exactly, yes. And I think that was, they bonded with some of the students from Santa Fe, went up there and helped them prepare a meal. Two of our students traveled to
Santa Fe Community College?
Community College. And so just getting out of traveling like that and getting out of Casa Grande or
Wow.
Maricopa and seeing the world like that just changes you.
Well, and that's important across the board that from anybody. I mean, even if you, I always tell Joe this, I said I spent 40-some years in the Philadelphia area, but I needed to change by moving to somewhere else. I came to Casa Grande in this area. And you do need to go and change, and it really does open up other opportunities. And then the phone rang, and Joe...
We got a couple of calls here. Clint from Coolidge says, what did it approximately cost to go to on your Italy trip with CAC? And he wants to know, are there any coming up, because he'd love to join the program?
The cost, hold on to your seat there, was $6,000, but that literally the students needed to only bring change for what they wanted to buy on their own. That was airfare from Phoenix, all meals,
and that's
all
2.5
hotels.
weeks.
2.5 weeks.
That's
all
awesome.
your side trips. It's very comparable. The price was a little higher because we were a small group, and this time I hope we have 15, and that'll bring the price down to about $5,000.
Well, we have Beth Ann from Scottsdale that called and said, how's the pizza? How is it different? And I would love to join the program. When is the next one coming up? So there's two more, possibly.
The next one is May 29th, and that'll come out when the summer catalog comes out. I'll put out flyers before then, and that'll be on the Culinary website at CAC. It won't have a course reference number until the catalog comes out.
If you're not currently enrolled as a student, can you still participate in one of those trips?
Yes.
You can?
Yes.
Ooh.
So if people want to get a hold of you, Carol, what's the best way? First, the website, centralaz.edu, and then under Culinary Arts.
/culinary, or my email, carol.bennett1@centralaz.edu.
So it's CARROLL.BENNETT?
1 L in
Okay.
Carol, two N's and 2 T's in Bennett, and there was somebody there before me, so they were Carol Bennett, and I'm Carol Bennett 1.
Okay.
That's do you know what? I do want to say one thing. I'm taking sponsorship right now to go on this trip. So if anybody wants to send me like cashier's checks or money orders, I'll put it in a special fund.
Well, maybe
You know,
the
right towards the
15% at Bakki's they can kick back to you.
That would be great,
There you go.
Yeah, and a fund.
And so are you going back to Italy, or are you going to another country?
No, we'll go back to Italy. Yeah.
And in the future, will you look at other countries?
Oh, maybe when I get this one under my belt for a few years.
couple years. Now, will people, for something like this, will it be the same thing? So will a student want to go back a second time? Or is it like kind of you do it once and it would be the same experience again?
Oh, it would be different because you're with different people. But the students that want to go back again. They want to bring family
Wow.
with them. They have to do, for their AAS degree, they have to do an internship. One of the students wants to go back and do it there.
Wow.
So, yeah.
With Beth Ann's question out of Scottsdale, how was the pizza and how is it different than here?
The bread is you didn't even need sauce on it. You could just eat that bread. And I think the flour is different, and then the high heat, the ovens, the water.
Does it come with cheese standard?
Yeah, usually it does, like a margarita with fresh basil, but not as saucy as ours, and they don't use oregano like we do. It's more of a plain tomato sauce, and some mozzarella, fresh mozzarella.
Wow, it's
killing me.
We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Miranda Vasquez about the pastry instructor at Central Arizona College, and talk about her program program. You're listening to CAC Live on KQCK in the Santan Valley.
And I'm going to go ahead and play this, so pay close attention to this Baki commercial. And remember, Baki's now, I don't have it in this commercial, but if you go in there, you get 15% off if you mention you heard it on KQCK. And this couldn't be better, talking about Italy and the culinary program. Stay tuned.
Bocce Italian Bistro of Arizona is the best-kept secret this side of Italy, located in southeast Mesa between Hawes and Ellsworth Road on Germain. For authentic family-cooked Italian cuisine, come and savor delicious dishes made from the freshest ingredients. We promise to deliver a true Italian family dining experience. Open for lunch Tuesday through Friday from 11 a.m. with all new $3.95 lunch specials, including our world-famous meatball and sausage sandwiches. Or indulge in one of our Frank the Godfather special sandwiches today. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday open from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come and experience true Italian perfection. Bocce's Italian Bistro. Visit the website bocceitalianbistro.com. That's BACIITALIANBISTRO.com. Located at 8830 East Germain Road in Mesa. You deserve the best.
Are you experiencing computer problems? Is your computer running slow, bogged down with viruses and spyware? You need a reliable and knowledgeable, trustworthy computer service company. Contact Computers, Networks, and More, located in Santan Valley. Get your computer or laptop running in top condition by a certified technician with 20-plus years experience and beta tester from Microsoft. Computers, Networks, and More provides repairs and solutions to any computer-related issue, whether it's software, installation, troubleshooting, updates, or tune-ups. You can trust Computers, Networks, and More. Contact Jeff Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. to schedule an appointment. We can have you up and running quickly, usually within 48 hours. Located in Santan Valley. Computers, Networks, and More. We're here for you. Contact Jeff at 480-729-8899. That's 480-729-8899.
Our family pets are such a big part of our lives. That's why Kelly's Critter Clips of Queen Creek and Sun Lakes has been providing pet grooming services for over 10 years. Your dog's comfort is very important to us, so we take the time to treat your pet with care, love, and professional attention it deserves. We welcome any size and breed and feature shampoo and conditioning, styling, flea and tick dips, ear cleaning, nail trimming, and so many other services that will leave your pet looking good and smelling good and feeling great, all at an affordable price. Located in Queen Creek and Sun Lakes, call now for an appointment, 480-655-5066. Kelly's Critter Clips.
We're back live in the Santan Valley on KQCK. This is CAC Live, and Carol Bennett, the chief chef at Central Arizona College, and overseeing, and no, she's not serving us food. What she's doing is she's teaching our students how to serve food. So we appreciate Carol back in. And joining us also is Miranda Vasquez. I said it right that time, right, didn't I? I said it's my Philadelphia Italian accent. Yeah,
during the break.
I should know that. Stella Garcia always has me practicing names, and then I have them practicing my name too. So, but Miranda, welcome back to we appreciate you being here in the program. I know you're a resident of the Santan Valley area.
Yes, I am.
And talk about what you do at Central Arizona College.
Well, right now at Central Arizona, I am teaching a few of the baking and pastry classes that we're offering.
That's like the loudest applause that Joe has.
I love it. It's great. I started out about 3 years ago, and I started off teaching just the basic cake decorating classes, and I've had the wonderful opportunity with Carol creating several more classes that we're offering now. So not only do you have your cake decorating and your advanced cake decorating, we've got making cakes from scratch and fillings and frostings and cupcakes and cookies and petit fours and everything chocolate. So we've got a wide range and classes for every skill level.
Do you do cannolis?
We've done in our baking and pastry classes cannolis. Yeah, absolutely.
And I've asked Carol, did you do pizzelles?
Absolutely.
There you go.
They're
Okay.
one of my favorites.
Good. I bought a Patel iron last year, and I got my grandmother's recipe. So.
I can critique all of those things for you, by the way. I just want to help. That's all.
So now, these classes that people take, these obviously are hands-on. You're in the kitchen. You're doing that. Are these all at the Signal Peak campus right now?
Correct. They're all at the Signal Peak campus right now, but then we are going to be offering classes in the spring for the Maricopa campus.
And the City of Maricopa campus will be opening up in January, and we'll talk a little bit more about that with Carol, about some of the classes that are going to be opportunities for students to take classes there. So if I'm coming in and I have no idea how to make a cake. Actually, I do. I've made cakes before, but let's say I have no idea, and I need to make a birthday cake.
Sure.
Can I come and learn how to do that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have not only the culinary students there that come in and are learning as part of their degree program. We have tons of people coming in, grandmothers and mothers with extra time, while the kids are in school, or sometimes those mothers need a night away from the kids. So a lot of the times they'll come in and we teach them how to decorate cakes, and it's for all occasions, birthdays and holidays. Especially right now, we're focusing a little on the holiday classes. We had one that just started yesterday on Halloween, so we had a lot of Halloween cakes that we did yesterday.
I could,
go ahead, Tom.
No,
sorry.
I could say I can bake cakes, but in terms of decorating, I'm a disaster. I mean, I get in there and that's a disaster. So people could come and learn, and they don't have to worry about credits.
No.
Sometimes
it's a credit class, so you absolutely get credit for going. But a lot of people take it just for fun. Just wanting to learn how to do basic designs. In our basic cake, we teach about filling a cake and frosting and using the bags and tips and piping and doing what you would probably see in your basic decorator's case when you go to a bakery. And then we move on to an advanced class where we can work with sugar paste flours and design something that's really beautiful and things that you would see in a custom bakery. So it's really nice.
I got invited to a birthday party a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go, but it was for my buddy's dog.
Nice.
And it was everybody brings their dog. And they looked high and low, and my buddy's a few bucks, but he looked for a bakery to make custom dog cakes. I kid you not, it took him a while, and found a place. There's a niche needing to be filled right there.
I've actually done that.
Oh, really?
It was.
I have.
It was thousands of dollars for all these dog cakes. Yeah. And they looked like people cakes, and each dog got their own cake, and it was fantastic.
I've had it. I've been there. I've done cakes.
Saw the videos off the hook.
I have my own business on the side, and I've absolutely seen a niche in that as well. They need doggy biscuits and doggy cookies and favor bags. Yeah, and there's like 10, 15 at a time. They're groups, big groups asking. It's like if they're dogs that are part of the family, it's like a kid's birthday.
You know what they really are? My dog yesterday, remember when my dog was sick a while back?
Right.
He's got this congenital thing, I think, where he gets a hurt back, kind of like we get sciatic. And yesterday I noticed he was looking a little off. Well, last night, all night, he was just couldn't move. Well, today I got him out the chicken soup that my wife made homemade for the kids because he wouldn't drink any water and it was rough, and he ate the whole pot. I had to elevate it up to him. I built up books on this little thing, and because he can't bend his neck very good.
Okay, you're going to have a sore back when your wife finds out.
And I held the bowl for him, and I said to my wife when he was almost done, because I'm like, hey, I got to grab the phone. She's like, you hold the bowl. And I'm like, come on. And she went over and held the bowl while he ate it. They're definitely part of the family.
So if you've made stuff for animals, what do you have to be aware of? Because obviously there's some things you can't put raisins or grapes or
can't put chocolate. There's lots of things, but peanut butter is real popular. So,
oh my gosh, my dog loves peanut butter. It's amazing.
So you can definitely make cookies, and every year we have tons of dogs in our families, so every year I make jars of biscuits for all of our puppies, and they get it along with our gifts every year, but they're peanut butter cookies, and my daughter loves them.
I was going to ask, can people eat them?
People can eat them.
You got to say, don't feed your dog anything you won't eat.
That's
and I'll tell you what, I've tried some horrendous things that I was not supposed to eat, nor was my dog. And it was like, whoa.
Oh,
Yeah.
so when you're decorating a cake, what's the most challenging thing that people find when you're teaching class? I mean, obviously there's some very simple techniques you can do, but what's the thing that people come and say, I just mess this up all the time. How do I do this?
A lot of the times, if you're getting technical, some of their piping and making sure things are straight and things like that on the cake. But a lot of the times, I think they get most
Crumb coat.
Yeah, they get it's with the basic frosting of the cake. You know, my cake's uneven, it's unlevel, the insides are falling out. You know, I don't know how to keep the insides in. So we take you bare ground. You know, we teach you from the ground up how to get the cakes to bake levelly, how to get the cakes to have the fillings actually stay in. So a lot of people will come in with a lot of different specific things that they're working on, but we're able to address all the different needs in the classes.
When you're doing a cake or something that has some kind of filling inside, and it comes out, it doesn't work, what usually causes that?
Overfilling. Usually,
Okay.
if you have too much of the good stuff inside, a lot of the times it comes oozing out. But the best thing that you can do is you build a little dam around the edge of your cake, and don't go over it, and you know, don't be afraid of the cakes. That's what I teach my students all the time. Is don't be afraid of cake. You can't hurt it. You can, no matter what it looks like, it all tastes good in the end. So you can't be nervous when you're working on cakes, and you know.
Joe?
I just wrote this down here. Where did it go? Go ahead. Sorry. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Do you make rum cakes and or ice cream cakes? And how can Jesse from Santan Valley get a hold of you? Do you have a website or?
I do. Yeah, I have my own business, Creative Cakes for You. It's www.creativecakes4u.com. And we deliver valley-wide. We're an online bakery right now, so we take custom orders. We absolutely do rum cakes, and we do ice cream cakes. We pretty much can deliver anything that you might dream about. So we do custom cakes, 3D cakes, ice cream, cookies, pastries. We do it all. Wedding cakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wedding cakes, that must be a challenge. How long does it take to do a wedding cake? When you're talking one that's like maybe 3 or 4 tiers tall.
3 or 4 tiers, usually about 2 to 3 days. I've done as high as 8 tiers.
Wow.
Yeah, so those take a couple more days with the baking one day and prepping for all of the sculpting and design work and all the sugar paste flours and things like that. So
Do you watch Cake Boss?
I do. I do. I watch Cupcake Wars. I watch all of them.
Italian rum cake? You know, Carol's shaking her head. That was like a staple around the holidays or at any kind of family wedding, really like christenings and confirmations. That was like the staple.
Look at these cakes, Tom.
It was a sad day for me when
Holy
Kathy's rum
mackerel.
cake closed.
Oh, I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you made all these.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Beautiful. Look at those roses. Boy, those look real.
Like the one that looked like a Dalmatian. How long did it take you to do something like that?
Wow.
That one really was just a half a day. It didn't really take that long to do that one.
So how do you get it where it doesn't run? I see. It looks simple, like you have these black dots in there, but you know, I'm looking at it going, my black would be all running down the side into the white area.
I love these things.
Those, are chocolates. We do custom handmade chocolates, so that's really good.
That's cool. That's cool. That's really neat. So do students learn some of these techniques in your classes?
Absolutely. In the
Wow.
Everything Chocolate class, we make handcrafted truffle balls. So you can learn how to make dipped chocolates, molded chocolates. We learn how to cook with chocolate and bake with chocolate. So yeah, the students get to learn all of these things. And with some of the new classes that we're forming for the baking and pastry certificate that's coming along here in the fall next year, we're going to be moving more towards some of the things that you might see on my website, like specialty wedding cakes, 3D cakes, topsy-turvy cakes, things like that, where It takes a little bit more precision and a little bit more, design work for your final outcome to be what you envision. But absolutely, they get to learn all the different kinds of things that we do.
What's the biggest trait that somebody has to have when they're cooking, when they're doing pastry and cakes? Do they have to be patient? Because you look at the stuff that you've created there, and it looks like you can't rush that stuff.
Absolutely. You do have to have patience. Absolutely. Your ingredients can sometimes be temperamental. Chocolate doesn't always want to work with you. And especially when you're getting with the 3D designs, it takes a long time for it to get to where you want it to look. So you do have to have patience, but you just have to have fun with it. Cakes are supposed to be fun, and when you have something that is 3D and someone says, "Wow, is that really cake?" It's awesome. It's awesome to hear.
Is there a project or a cake or a pastry that you did that after it was done you went, "Wow, I've kind of outdid myself. This looks like it's from a magazine"? Is there...
I don't know if it's been one that's been, wow, it's from a magazine, but for my husband's birthday a couple of years ago, he talked all year long about wanting a new grill. And so I was like, okay, we'll buy him a grill. And I thought, I'm going to make him a great big old steak cake. And so I did a really huge, big, gigantic steak cake, and I put it on top of the grill. And when he opened it, he's like, "Where did you get that steak?" Because he really thought it was a steak. It looked that real.
Wow.
Yeah, so that one was one of my wow moments. Like, ooh, somebody really thought that was a big hunk of meat. So,
you know what we need to do is, can you make me just some a big bowl of fruit or vegetables?
Well, there you go. You get your fruit and vegetables. Sure.
I need to psych out my wife. Hey, look at me. I'm eating some spinach. Give me some broccoli over there. Thank you.
Absolutely.
You're on to something there.
I think so.
In the marketplace, Carol, is the marketplace, it looks like CAC's moving toward, obviously, a certificate in this kind of program. Is the marketplace today bearing, like there's a need
There it is.
for what Miranda does?
Yeah, there is. People are doing everything from just out of their home selling cookies to the wedding cakes. But then, and it's mostly, I would say, in the resorts and
Right.
the high-end restaurants where you're seeing people getting salaried work for this type of thing. But even just in your fries, a lot of our students have gotten jobs at the grocery stores decorating cakes. And for a good wage.
Yep.
Wow, that's I guess you have to enjoy to doing this if you're spending all that time. How do you keep from putting your finger in? And I mean, obviously, growing up as kids, my mom, and this was before we weren't allowed with the eggs. The eggs were in there; we were eating it. So, but we got to lick the batter, we got to lick the everything at the end. But you're going all day, or does it get to a point? And I'll tell you this because my grandmother cooks, and she'll cook a whole giant meal, ravioli. She'll make them from scratch, and she'll tell me, I hate pasta because she cooks all day and won't eat it.
Right.
And I kind of get that a little bit. If I'm cooking, I'll cook pot meatballs or something like that, and I won't really eat a lot of it until the next day sometimes.
Because you're
That's me.
tasting it the whole time.
That's me. After doing it for 6 years, you kind of stop wanting to have your finger in that frosting. You know what it's going to taste like. That it's sweet and it's chocolatey, and you just don't get that urge anymore. Once you've been around it so much and you're smelling it all the time, and you really don't have that urge.
Is it the same with cooking? I'm just in meals, Carol. Over the years with the cooking, do you?
I'm like you. If I've been cooking all day, I really can't taste it. And people will say, "Oh, this is so good," or
That's
and I'm
probably
like,
what it is.
It's not that I don't want to eat it. I just can't taste it until the next day. I'll try it and I'll go, "Oh, yeah, that was good."
It's always better to eat other people's cooking, even if you're a fantastic cook, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't figured that one out.
It's I mean that's a good way to put it because I know when I'll make gravy sauce and I'll make meatballs and then I have it for the family and everybody and I'll have some, but it's right. It's not till the next day where I'm like, oh, okay, this came out good, or this wasn't so good.
Yeah.
It is really hard. That's a good way to put it.
But, our students gain weight because for us, we've cooked all this stuff semester after semester, and I'm just good with the taste. But they eat.
They have to eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then the next week, it's on to all new food.
Yeah.
And you eat again, so.
So you got to come hungry.
Oh,
Well,
man.
is that when you're cooking? Is it better to be hungry while you're cooking, or not be? As a chef.
I make sure I eat 3 meals a day, my food, because that helps me not snack and take little tastes. Because they've done studies, and the taste in 8 hours in a kitchen, you can taste your way to like 3,000 calories.
Oh my
You just
gosh.
can't shop while you're hungry.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
That's a bad thing.
That is a bad thing. We are here in the KQCK studios. Tom D. Camillo, Joe Carrera. Joe, why don't you give out the number again?
480-745-1033.
And we're visiting with Carol Bennett, chef at Central Arizona College, and Miranda Vasquez, who is overseeing the pastry, baking, cake. What is actually your title? What is the program's title? Is it baking? Is it pastry? Or if people call in and want to know?
We have classes right now in baking and pastry. We have a certificate and an AAS degree coming in the fall of 2013, and it's a baking and pastry certificate or a baking and pastry AAS.
Okay, and then the other programs that are not the dessert part, what are the different parts? I think just culinary arts. And is it a certificate, a degree, or both?
We have 2 certificates in culinary arts, a beginning and an advanced, and an associate's degree.
If you wanted to get a certificate in the beginning, how long does that take? Or is that a 2-year program, 1-year program?
A certificate is 2 semesters.
2 semesters?
16 credits.
Right. And then also now, Carol, you have this program. It's called the CSA program. What is that?
Well, it's Lucky Nickel Ranch is an organic farm in Eloy, and the Lucky Nickel Ranch has a CSA program, which is Community Supported Agriculture. And the idea is that you buy in at the beginning of the season, you buy a share, and you sink or swim with the farmer. So you purchase your share, and then every week a box of whatever is available that week is delivered to the campus. And we had over 10 people sign up for it, which was the minimum number at CAC Signal Peak campus to have that produce delivered on a weekly basis. And that should be starting pretty soon in the next couple weeks with the deliveries.
Can anyone get into that?
Yeah, you just have to be able to get to Signal Peak on Thursday afternoon to pick it up.
What does that cost?
The first round was $196 for a share, and then in the spring, because we go from January until May, that'll be a little more.
And what type of produce is in something like that? Like from January to May, what would people be getting at that time?
All your lettuces and greens, broccoli, all winter vegetables, cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, spinach, peas, all your herbs, beets, carrots, whatever Michael has planted.
So from a value standpoint, when it comes out, is it something is it cheaper than a grocery store, a little more expensive, but the quality's better, it's locally grown?
It's going to be cheaper because it's organic, and if you compared it to the organic prices in the grocery store, that would be more. And bear in mind, organic in a grocery store might come from South America. The idea behind a CSA is you are face-to-face with the person who grew it. It's coming from Eloy, so it's not, you don't have all the shipping costs, and you're able to pick it fresh at its peak and deliver it.
Although you're playing a lottery ticket, just based, although it's really not, because Michael's obviously a very professional farmer. He knows what he's doing.
He's USDA certified.
Oh, so that's not really a lottery. He's good at what he does.
He's good at what he does. But you could have a hailstorm, you could have a windstorm, you could have something.
You could get infested with giant African
bees,
cicadas.
Oh, cicadas.
Well, the white flies have been a challenge.
Right.
So, yeah.
So was this the first time that CAC was involved? The employees were involved with this?
Yeah,
this
it was
past
open
year?
to any employee who wanted to do it, and some people really just were so excited to have it come. And then once this gets going, people will be able to go to his website and order a bag or a box of vegetables on a weekly basis instead of buying in to a whole share.
So if the employees or if say there's another group or like a business in Pinell County, they could just contact him and then he
That's
can
right.
and set it up, and so it really cuts down on, I would say, like a lot of probably waste, like packaging and fuel consumption.
Well, it's a guarantee, because instead of going to a farmer's market and the consumer, maybe they're there, maybe they're not, or for the farmer, maybe the consumer doesn't come. I'm guaranteed I'm going to get my package, and the farmer is guaranteed that, it's paid for.
And if you're thinking about doing something like that, if you're out there wondering how that works, you can always freeze them. I know we've been to many farmers markets and bought tomatoes, and we take them home and blanch them and freeze them, and great way to go.
And it challenges you, because you get vegetables
Yes,
that you
it
might not
does.
have tried before.
Right.
So is there a standard package of stuff that comes, or is it just kind of, how do people know what he's growing at that time?
He's been communicating with everybody via email and also on his website what's been planted and when to anticipate that it'll be harvested. But week to week, it's a little bit of a surprise.
Does it, when it starts in January, you get something every single week?
Yes.
So it'll definitely be different from early part of the year to the end part of the year. Obviously,
Right.
stuff isn't growing.
We're going to have to do that, Tom.
I thought about it last year when Carol brought it, and I brought it to my wife. We just kind of missed it, but I was kind of thinking about it again.
Yeah, you can still sign up, and you can buy a half share. You don't have to buy a full share to get a smaller
What's his
amount.
website?
www.luckynickel.com.
Joe's calling that up to take a look at. It's interesting, for an area, sometimes going into the grocery stores here, I'm surprised that some of the quality at different times is not as good as some of the other parts of the country, being that the weather that we have here. Sometimes it's coming from the East Coast. There are things, obviously, in this part of the country that are a lot better and more readily available, and then other times I'm kind of surprised with the weather that stuff is not available. And maybe corn being one. It's back east, in the summer from like July, August, September. You'd have ample amounts of corn at stands, and that's one of the things I miss. And maybe that's
tomatoes.
And tomatoes is another one, absolutely.
Jersey tomatoes.
Yeah, Jersey peaches. It was another thing that we used to get. So there were things, and maybe just because of the shipping, I'm surprised. So when you cook and you're teaching students to cook, it goes back to something that you said about looking locally, about what kind of produce and what kind of vegetables you have options. Is it really that different around the country? Does food really taste different? And when I say different, what I mean is, like, it may be the same exact product. It's not like in the Southwest you're going to have more of a Mexican influence in food compared to maybe the Northeast. But if you have sort of these basic sort of foods that you can get in different parts of the country that are the same things, whether it's a steak or whether it's a certain type of vegetable. But does it taste different because it's grown in different parts of the country?
Well, steak is a good example. When we go back to my home state of New Jersey, we enjoy beef because it's different. The meat is different than the beef that's raised out here.
Is it because of what they're feeding them?
Yeah, what they eat, sure.
Just because of their eating stuff that's grows differently here compared to there, you can really taste the difference?
Yeah, cactus doesn't seem to make a good steak.
and we just had a call from somebody in his program that said it's Lucky Nickel Ranch, but I had already found it. So thank you, caller, for letting us know.
Sorry.
So
look at that. That's a stand that they have somewhere.
Which one? This one down here? Oh, on the lower screen here?
This one. Oh,
Yeah,
I was looking up top at that.
Oh, sorry.
Can you put
you
it up
can
there?
go to the ranch and purchase there too.
Oh, so they actually have a store.
Or stand, yeah.
It's a store. And that was one of the things back, and Carol, I know you coming from back east, said there seemed to be a lot more a lot more farm stands that you can just kind of run out to in the East and in the Midwest compared to Arizona.
Yeah.
Is that just because of?
I don't know why that is. I'd get really frustrated here with farmers markets. I've been to so many of them, and I'm like, where's the farmer?
Yeah.
And then I look and I go, wait a minute, plums aren't growing here right now. And you look behind, and it's all from California.
Right.
So
or they're from Mexico.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, pick your farmers market.
Pick it carefully.
Yeah.
So in terms of now, I know CAC. We've built this campus. It's growing. It's being grown out in the city of Maricopa, and the culinary arts program is spreading to that campus. And in January, you're going to be offering classes out in Maricopa. Can you talk about those a little bit?
Yep, we are. We were advised to offer just our specialty classes. We'll be starting the classes that you can get, for the major degree program in the fall. So in February we have Mexican and Latin American cuisine, a 4-week class. Miranda's going to be teaching cake decorating. We have an Asian class, and we have Serve Safe, which is to get your food safety cards.
And what is a food safety card for people that don't know? Why would you need something like that?
Well, we don't have that in mandatory in Pinal County, but in Maricopa County, it's mandatory that each restaurant has a person who has a food manager's card, and that's about 30 hours of training and a national exam in food safety, as opposed to a food handler's card, which, if you're working, you just take a little online quiz, study a little bit, take an online quiz on basic food safety so that you can handle food safely.
So for somebody like Miranda with her business, would she need something like that if she's going and serving into or Maricopa County?
Well, she has it, but yeah, you would definitely want that. You really, we're the only county that doesn't have it.
But it makes you obviously marketable to be employed or start your own business. You encourage, obviously, you need to get that.
Yeah, and you don't get sued because people get sick.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. It's important.
They don't find big, giant fingers and stuff in there.
Fingernails.
Right. I thought of a great themed cake, by the way, just now. It just kind of popped into my mind. Are you ready for this?
Uh-huh.
If you know a prisoner, you have a big chocolate file coming out of the side. What do you think, Tom? I mean, come on. I'm brainstorming here, trying to help.
I think
Doesn't everybody know a prisoner? Come on. I mean, I don't personally, but
Are you gonna make a cake with stripes on it when they get out?
I'm gonna make one for Tom. I thought maybe some bars on the top or something. Who knows? All right, if it's not a good idea, fine.
Well, there's a lot of wardens right now cringing that are listening to the show and cutting it off the system that's being piped through right now. So, Joe, you're a hoot, let me tell you.
She could be getting a lot of orders now, though, from the prison, right?
Could be.
Yeah. X-rayed cakes.
Yeah.
It's I've been watching the show. My wife loves it, called Restaurant Impossible, and
oh yeah,
you know what I'm talking.
Of course.
And I would tell you one of the things that kind of skeeves me out now that I'm very conscious of after watching that show is ice machines.
Oh,
and you're shaking your head, and I'm thinking people don't probably really clean those, do they?
Number one reason for foodborne illness.
Is it really?
That's what they say.
Yeah.
And lemons.
Just so you know,
And
ours gets bleached out once a month.
Does it?
Oh, because of the show. Because of that show.
So,
We buy our ice in bags.
Our ice is
It's
safe here. And we're on a well, too.
So when you have students in your program, is that part of the Serve Safe program, or do you? I mean, you must in every class, probably from all of your classes, emphasize safety. You can't, let's say, kill a customer, but even just making them sick, you're never going to go back.
Well, you go to your dental hygienist, and they're gloving their hands to put their hands in your mouth. We're putting food in people's mouths. It's the exact same thing.
Wow.
So it's got to be clean.
It's how bad, how much can a reputation, something like that, destroy a business? One person getting sick, and then they go out into the community and say, "Hey, I got sick."
That depends if you're Filiberto's or not. I mean, nothing personal to Filiberto's, but every time my daughter goes there, she finds like a hair in it, or I can't take my daughter anywhere.
Wow.
Well, that's the.
Well, what's the rule of thumb? If something's good, you tell 10 people. If something's bad, you tell.
I'm actually in fear of some places to go. I'm afraid.
I think that kind of can, and that's where you go back to the education part of students. It might not be their business. Maybe they're working for an employer, but they could ruin a business pretty quickly.
Yeah, our students are good. What we hear when they go out to work and then they come back is the horror stories, and just tell them it's an ethical decision every time you do something. If you drop something and you're in a hurry. If food wasn't kept at the right temperature, but you're going to lose a lot of money if you throw it away. These are ethical decisions, and that you have to have some strong ethics in this business.
There's no 3-second rule with food on the floor.
If it's going in your mouth, it's fine. But, or I give you permission.
Well, I always look at, and I think it was the restaurant. Was it Chi-Chi's? That had the, you know what I'm talking about?
I'm sorry.
No, it was a Mexican restaurant throughout the United States, and they had, if I recall correctly, it was green onions that were contaminated, and many people, and the company doesn't no longer exist anymore, and so it seems like a small thing, and they probably honestly got that product, thought it was fine, and it really can.
Well, spinach. Too, a couple of years ago, it's everybody was getting sick eating raw spinach.
Yeah.
But that's why my garden gets bigger every year.
Yeah, right. Just remember, hair and lint is not a coating.
So Carol, coming up and we have about a minute left. So if people, if there's students out there that want to get into the program, or people that just want to take classes to learn, again, why don't you give out the website again and your contact information?
Best way for finding out about classes and the degree is www.centralaz.edu/culinary, and all of my contact information is on there.
And that's great. So, Carol, we appreciate you joining us. Miranda, good luck. I think you're going to get a lot of calls about, at least from Joe, about making cakes. And again, why don't you give your website out again?
Sure. It's www.creativecakes4u.com.
And if you check out Miranda's cakes, then you can come take her classes at CAC, and she'll teach you to do that. So we appreciate both of you coming on. Good luck, and we're looking forward to seeing the opening of the Maricopa campus and what's happening there with the Culinary Arts program. Tom D. Camillo, Joe Carrero. We'll catch you next week on CAC Live, and Joe will have a ton of cakes in front of him. We'll catch you next Thursday at 10:30.
Are you ready to start taking control of your future and maximize your earning potential? Central Arizona College has smaller class sizes and personalized attention to help you compete in today's tough job market. CAC now serves Santan Valley and Queen Creek. The CAC Santan Center is located in the shops at Copper Basin on Hunt Highway, behind Barrow's Pizza. Stop in and see how taking classes at CAC costs a fraction of a state university, and your credits can transfer. So, if you want to earn real money, you need to learn real skills at Central Arizona College. Enroll in classes today by calling 480-677-7825 or visit www.centralaz.edu or call 480-677-7825 or visit www.centralaz.edu. Central Arizona College, your college, your way. Got termites gnawing on your house? Do you have